Hola y bienvenidos amigos. Hello and welcome friends to another sunny, hot, awesome day down here just outside of Vilcabamba, Ecuador, in the south part of the country, still on the farm, probably for about the rest of this week, which will bring me to almost a full month here. And today, I wanted to check in and do a quick video, well maybe not so quick, but a video about the 7 biggest benefits after 2 years of volunteering using Workaway. I'll open this with a quote from Gandhi: "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." So that's a good entry into the world of volunteering. I got into volunteering shortly after I came down to Ecuador. I need to be here for 5 years to do the full residency process, and I needed something to do to pass that time, and thought I would rather be doing things that are serving people as opposed to taking a job and getting stuck maybe in a place and a gig that I don't like. I'll just do this. The sun is really intense right now. So I've been with Workaway for 2 years. I just renewed for a 3rd year. They are not the only game in town. They were just the one that I happened to find. It's worked really well for me for the past 2 years, as I'll outline in this video. And I thought, yeah, what better time than now to just sum up some of the benefits that I've received. Like, there's way more than this, but these are sort of the top 7 I came up with. So this farm is my 16th gig, or 16th host, let's say, through Workaway. The shortest one was for a week, and the longest gig was for over 3 months, about 3.5 months. And if it's a good fit, I don't mind staying long term, and if there's stuff I can do to actually help the host, then I'm happy to stay. The only reason I left the one that was almost 4 months is because it was rainy season, and there wasn't a lot to do, and literally every day it was raining. I thought, no, this isn't for me, so I took off. But I have an open invitation to head back there anytime, and I will be going back because they're great people, and it's a great opportunity and a really fun gig. So, a little bit about Workaway. I'm not affiliated with them. I have a membership. I'm not getting anything for doing this video. It's not a commercial for them. That just happens to be the platform that I use. It's worth looking into. I'll put a link in the description. It's workaway.info. If you want to check it out online, you can find other people that have posted videos about it as well. So, having said that, the first year I paid $50 for a membership, a single membership, just to see, is this going to be a fit? Is it going to work for me? And it did. When I went to renew at the end of the first year, there was an offer for $35 for the second year. I'm like, absolutely. It's less than $3 a day. And then for renewal this time, it was $41 for the 3rd year, but for 15 months. So it's a little bit cheaper than last year and still well under $3. Without further ado, the top 7 benefits after 2 years of volunteering through Workaway. Number 1, I'll do it like the Count from Sesame Street. 1, cultural and language immersion. A lot of the time you're eating meals with your host, you're spending a lot of time with them, and most of my hosts here don't speak English. Some of them do, some of them are actually expats that have volunteer opportunities. A lot of them are locals. They speak Spanish, which forces me to up my Spanish game. And you get to know about them, obviously, the family, the community, about their life, about the culture, the history, and especially cuisine, because they're sharing meals, like usually 2 times a day. That is something down here. It's a little different. People don't generally eat dinner. They'll have a breakfast, a big lunch around 1 in the afternoon, and then maybe a snack in the evening, like a coffee or a tea or whatever, and a bun, or something simple. So, cultural and language immersion. Reason or benefit number 1. Number 2, exchange of value, not currency. This goes to the heart of the biggest issue of everybody that I've ever met that travels, and especially that wants to travel long term. Money eventually becomes the deciding factor of why they need to take a break or stop traveling because they run out of it. In volunteering, you're exchanging value So I, as the volunteer, am exchanging my expertise and my time and my effort for room and board. So the host already has the room, and it's not going to cost him a lot to feed me. So it's but it's valuable to me because it saves me having to rent a hotel and go out and buy food, either have somebody else prepare it, go to a restaurant, or I buy it and prepare it myself. So my skills, and especially I'm probably at least twice as old as the average Workawayer, so I have a lot more skills because I've been on the planet longer, right? I'm a licensed electrician. I don't usually advertise that. I don't do a lot of electrical work for people. If it's a cool host, I'll say, hey, by the way, this electrical thing is a mess and I can fix it for you. Or yeah, please do. So I have skills and life experiences that make it easier for me to book gigs down here, let's say. And that exchange of value goes a long way. And it works both ways. The host comes out ahead and I come out ahead. So number 2 is exchange of value versus exchange of currency. Number 3, we'll stop with the count. Explore different parts of the country or the world with locals. So it's not like they're traveling with me, but if I'm staying in a place, I get to know the community really well. I get to know the surrounding area. The host will say, oh, there's this attraction over here. It's probably not in your guidebook. Or there's a fair going on at the nearby town this weekend, or whatever. Like, I find out about things that are off the radar, and they can tell me the history of the area, who lived there before. Was it like the Yoruba? I think it was Yoruba tribe up in Tulipe, for example. Never heard of them. But a lot of history there, and some ruins, and things that, okay, it's in the guidebook, but not to the same extent that I managed to get information from my hosts about that. So number 3, get to explore different parts of the country much more in depth than you would, again, if you were in a hotel or a hostel or a resort. Benefit number 4, flexibility. One of my favorites. You can come and go at will. Usually there's a minimum or a requested minimum. Hey, we need you here for 2 weeks or something. If it's a good fit, like I said, I got all the time in the world. I don't mind staying longer if I can continue to add value, and if we're getting along and it's a good vibe, sure, I'll stay. And the ability to be able to leave. If it's not a good fit and like, okay, look, this isn't working out either for the host and or for me, that hasn't happened yet, but some are a better fit than others, and in those ones I want to stay longer, and sometimes it's not a great fit, and you have the opportunity to leave. It's not like a job where you're sort of locked in and there's a procedure to quit and leave and move on. It's not like that. I always give them at least a few days and usually a week or more heads up. Hey, I'm going to be leaving next weekend, and that way they can make plans and I can plan to either go and travel on my own or go and hit another volunteer opportunity. If you're getting value from the video, please drop a like and a comment. This is one of the core tenets, I guess, of the channel. It's ostensibly a travel channel, and in the traveling I'm doing, I'm volunteering a lot, right? Like, I think last year was 9 months of the year I volunteered, and the other part of the channel I want to focus on is retirement. So I am retired and volunteering, and I'm doing that under the umbrella, let's say, of travel. So please share this with anybody you think might be interested. If you have any questions about Workaway, drop me a comment. Happy to answer anything that I can. Not like I'm an expert or a shill, but I found it to be a very useful platform. Number 5, biggest benefits. You can build a network of contacts in a region or nationally or even around the world. Right now I'm focusing on Ecuador for residency, and it's been really good. It's been nice to be able to go to different parts of the country, like I said in a previous benefit. But a big part of that is if I get along with the hosts and I get to meet people in the community and we exchange, WhatsApp is the main way people keep in touch. If we exchange WhatsApp numbers when I'm going back to that part of the country, or if I have a question, or okay, I'm dealing with this issue, what do I do? I'm like, oh yeah, it's down here, this is how we do it. I have access to local insights that I wouldn't otherwise have, let's say. It's different if I'm walking down the street and I ask somebody, hey, for directions, okay, that's one level. But if I've stayed with somebody for a few weeks or a couple months, we have more of a relationship. And a lot of times I feel like family, seriously. Like, it's amazing how fast you can bond with the people, Latin people in general. The culture is very open, and Ecuadorian people, in my experience specifically. So that building a network really helps. And sometimes I go back not to volunteer, but hey, I'm going to be near your place. Could I rent a room for a couple nights so I can take care of some business? Yeah, don't worry about it. So that part helps me out a lot too. Instead of having to go through Airbnb or whatever platform you want to choose, I know somebody in that area. I would rather pay them to stay at their place and put money in their pocket as opposed to somebody at a hotel that I don't know. So number 5, build a network of contacts. Number 6 is a big one for me, fly under the radar. I'm not doing anything illegal, I'm not trying to hide anything, but I do like being off the radar and off the grid. And it's pretty easy to do when you're volunteering. And by that I mean, I don't have a utility bill, I don't have a lease, I don't have anything that is holding me to a specific geographic location. So I can pick up and leave any time, like I said, flexibility, and being able to fly under the radar to be able to fulfill my time commitment of being in the country for residency. I'm outside of the cities most of the time. I'm in the campo, I'm still in the country, but I'm not, let's say if I was on the coast, you got to look out for violence and different things that are going on there. If I was in a city, you'd be dealing with a lot of petty crime and thieves and stuff. That's really spiked. But in the campo, you don't have to worry about anything, literally. Like everybody knows everybody. I'll leave a link to the banana story, which I'll post at some point. I had a really nice interaction with a couple older people in the Pueblo here just this past weekend. And that kind of stuff, it's in that video, but that kind of stuff doesn't happen in the cities. So flying under the radar, number 6. Number 7, seeing the results of your efforts. So I have another couple shorts that I posted. If you check them out on the channel, one is the thumbnail is the dog, Noah, and the other one is a gate, a big metal gate that I rehabbed, cleaned up, and painted. And the thing looked amazing. By the time I was finished, it looked like it was brand new. It scraped off all the plants growing on it and whatever. Check out the video if you get a chance, if you haven't seen it yet. It's really fulfilling to me to be able to see this is what I've done with my time here, right? A lot of it is gardening or weeding, and yeah, that's helpful. But if I can do painting or construction or more long-term gigs like that, that I know that work is going to far outlast my time on whatever, on the farm, let's say, for example. So that gate, it's going to get dirty with the rain and the dirt and whatever, but clean it off and it's going to look brand new again. And it looks a million times better than it did previously. And that's just one of many projects that I've done down here. So, to summarize, the 7 biggest benefits after 2 years of volunteering through Workaway. 1, cultural and language immersion. 2, it's an exchange of value, not currency. 3, you can explore different parts of the country or the world and get a much deeper understanding and experience of it than if you were in a hotel or a hostel or a resort. Number 4, benefit number 4, flexibility. Huge. Number 5, you can build a network of contacts in the region or in the world. Number 6, fly under the radar. One of my favorites. And number 7, seeing the results of your time and efforts. Is knowing that you made a difference for your host. And I mean, it sounds, cheesy, corny, but a lot of the time when I leave a place, I feel like I've gotten more out of that experience than my host did. They probably feel the same way. I've done it through their benefit for having me there is that I've managed to do a lot of projects, whatever it is, painting, construction, gardening, electrical work, whatever. And for me, it's the cultural insights and immersion and being welcomed into their family in a lot of cases. And I'm still in touch with some of my favorite hosts. I have an idea to do a video of my top 5 favorite Workaway hosts so far, which we'll see. I don't want to do it and then some of my hosts that weren't on that top 5 list, like, hey, how come I'm not on your list? And by the way, it's not because of the host, so in a lot of cases, it's because maybe the community or the weather or some other thing outside of that just wasn't as good a fit. So hopefully those have been helpful. I would love to hear if you've done long-term volunteering, what some of the benefits were for you. And I would recommend, if you're looking to do some travel, again, use Workaway or don't. Use whatever you want. I don't get anything whether you do or not. But find a platform that vets the hosts so that you know you can show up in a place and you can stay for weeks or months and be able to have a real experience with real locals in that place that you won't get almost any other way. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate your time. Happy trails. See you out on the road.